I don't even know if we're live. Okay, hey guys, we are
Yes, we are
live
live. Hey everyone.
It's Allegra and Lorri.
The wine show.
Right. And this is exactly what it feels like. It feels like a great wine show. Last week, Lorri, we had a great time. I really did. Just drinking and tasting the wines. We got educated. And I think it was a great opportunity for people to get to know you and a little bit of things behind that brand that you're selling, right?
We tried, right?
But you gave us so much knowledge and information. And my thing is, I'm gonna talk about today some of the things that I think are so imperative for women when it comes down to kind of taking that pause. When I think about winding down, I think about really reevaluating what you're doing. Something you even brought up that I know we're going to talk about with this, which is this holistic avenue of support for ourselves, right? Being self-aware of what we're putting in our bodies, being actively, intentional about what we're doing along the way of our lives. So I want to talk about that a little bit tonight, because I think self-care, self-awareness, and what Natasha said, one of our garden party speakers, that there's a difference between self-care and maintenance. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that's true.
Yes, I mean, there is. You can maintain it, not a very good spot, but you're maintaining it versus really taking care of yourself and then maintaining it.
Well, this is how she put it. So this is what I'm going to say.
Okay, let me hear.
Because I didn't know where she was going with it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you never know. No. So I'm sitting and listening, and she said, self-care is basically the things that you're doing to enhance your lifestyle, right? That is going to last, like reading a book, meditating, right? Being in a place where you are in quiet and at peace, and you're allowing yourself to go within, right? Like caring for that self, that whole self. And then she said, but maintenance is like getting your nails done, your hair done, your makeup. And I was like, oh.
Really? And that's maintenance? Oh God, I'm way behind on maintenance.
I said, girl, I don't have no maintenance. Like,
I literally got my nails done today for the first time in 5 weeks.
At least
I was very happy to go get that done.
At least we got it done today. So tell me your take on that, though, because I thought that was real interesting. And then I thought about it, and it kind of made me feel some type of way. Like, am I not maintaining myself? Like, what?
I guess you don't get to think about it. Like, I guess if people think maintenance the same way you think about maintaining your home, maintaining your car, that yes, that's taking care of the things that keep it running. In terms of what has to be done, get the car, you got to get the oil changed every point, or things like that. But when she's thinking about self-care, I think she's thinking more of your emotions, your mental state, what's inside of you, and you need to take care of that, because maintaining the outside isn't going to do you much good if you're not taking care of what's inside.
I totally agree. And
that's
I'm thinking like some of my really.
I mean, I would think you'd have to agree. One of the things, like women particularly, we're so worried about taking care of our significant other, our children, the home, and everything else. We put our self-care last.
Oh yeah.
So we don't always make that time, and that is where but we'll probably make sure, at some point our hair gets done. It's got to get brushed. You're taking a shower. You're doing all those things that are just our day-to-day stuff. Oh, please, I'm going to get the grays out of the hair this week.
but Lorri, can I be honest? I did not. Okay, so let me just have a very transparent moment with you guys. So while I sip, okay, I literally felt like I was tired of doing things for myself at a point of time, because I was always maintaining, like my mother was like, go get your nails done, get your hair done, this, that. I'm telling you, my mom, still to this day, my mom,
stories.
even with my 93-year-old grandmother, she's like, oh no, we getting our nails done. I'm like, well, maybe she.
I grew. But we've talked about this. My mom has Alzheimer's, dementia now, but that was my mother. Mm-hmm. I have friends who joke because My mother, when I had my first daughter and I didn't have a lot of friends home with children, my mother and my aunt had a women's clothing store about 25 minutes away. And I would go to just hang out with them for lack of anything else to do with my daughter. But I would literally stand there looking, is my hair fixed? Do I have makeup on? Am I look okay? Because otherwise I'm going to get yelled at when I show up there.
Wow.
Because they'd be, why don't you? I tell people all the time, I was in the hospital when I was 16 years old. They thought I was going to need my appendix out. And my mother and my aunt came in to visit me that day. And all I wanted was to take a shower because they literally rushed me from the emergency room and admitted me. So, and I was like, my hair needs to be washed. So all I wanted to do, I just hadn't had a chance, right? And we're going to get you some makeup. We'll put some makeup on you. You'll feel better. I'm sitting here like, really? I got IVs in my arm. But in their mind, they'll put some makeup on me. I'm going to feel better. So I totally get going up and down like that.
I feel you. But I mean, it also reminds me, like, what about those times? And this is sometimes I always think about, like, when we are kind of expected to show up a certain way, like you're talking about, like, say on video, like on camera, I do not like wearing makeup. I do not like having to put on stuff. And
I get around to it today.
Like, I love y'all, but I don't think it take all that. Like,
this is who I am.
This is who I am. But I will say, Lorri, there's something that my brand, I want to say brand specialist, because she does the makeup and the clothes and the look and the imagery, everything. Okay. She said that 55% of people, like 55% of the room that you walk into remembers how you look. They judge you. You know, you don't maybe you're not wearing makeup, but your eyebrows better be arched. Your skin, you just do it right. And I think that that's the point that I had to learn, that self-care, the maintenance, the beautification. I was doing what I saw and what I was told. But once I realized I don't like makeup and I don't like how it feels on my skin. And I feel like it's a weight. Like I do. And I used to do pageants and stuff like that. So I think that traumatized me too.
Oh, okay. No.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up. But me and my mother was just talking about that the other day. And I was
I've never done that type of stuff. But then I was an overweight child. So I would never.
I don't even understand pageants. It was a whole nother beast. And for those of you who do pageants, for women who are out there in the world and beautifying and beautification, like some of that stuff is just so over the top for me. So I've kind of adapted to this, this identity of whatever I feel in this moment is okay. If I don't want to wear makeup, I'm okay, but my face is clean. I look presentable. I'm not, out here just giving y'all whatever. I didn't wake up and crust in my eyes. I'm at least taking care of my face and myself and giving the best I can without all the extra. Now, what do you think about that? Like, I feel like so many of us, especially when I was younger, I felt that pressure of like, I gotta wear makeup.
Well, like I said, I grew up in a house where, yes, my mother would definitely look at me and like, put yourself together, right? Your hair, fix it, that. But then again, I always laugh because my mother, different generation, as I make that point a lot. I am of a different generation. So it seems my mother's it's more of your grandmother's generation, probably.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. That makes so much sense.
So different. So I was raised differently. Like I wasn't raised by a woman who felt you should also have a profession. I was raised by a woman who felt you're supposed to be a homemaker. And even at the point when I had my children, it was just like, you're not going back to work. Well, I will eventually. I am planning on it. Well, then why are you having children? I mean, I was literally told this by my mother. So different generation. I had to kind of get it past that. But always, my mother's first comment would always be to me about any woman, girl she saw, never about the men, was, did you see how good she looks? So-and-so lost weight. Or so-and-so, has a boyfriend. So-and-so, but, I wish, my one daughter who got married later in life, I wish my baby would just find somebody. I just want her to find somebody. I mean, she's very happy. She's a very successful career and she's doing fine. And when she's ready, she'll find somebody. And she did, and she's very happy. But that different generation and different what they wanted. So I think I became very conscious of not, I have one daughter who, yes, will I think since COVID, we've all laid back. I mean, I never left my house. I never went to work without makeup and everything because I was
Really?
I was in pharmaceutical sales. I got dressed and everything was just so. Because as you said, they said 55% of people I was going out presenting, I needed to look that they were going to want to talk to me.
Yep.
So I needed to look an image. And but since COVID of being home, I've gotten so much lazier about that. I'm like, I'm fine, I'm clean, I'm put together. I don't need to go through the whole bit. I may throw mascara on a lot, but that might be it. But I have one daughter who's never been a makeup person and one daughter who is a makeup person. That's just how they are. And they're both beautiful the way they are. And if that's what makes you happy, I think you have to everybody has to say maintenance is different to different people.
I like that. Because you were bringing up some things about generation that were making me feel a little uncomfortable. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong about thinking the way I think because, when you brought up your mom, I'm like, my grandma, I'm like, I'll be checking her on some stuff, y'all. So I'll be like telling Nana, not in a mean way, but I'm like, Nana, we don't think like that no more. And she'll be like, And what my mother said, she was like, you better learn how to deal with the elderly now. She said, you better learn how to deal because the thinking process and the upbringing and the way that we lived our lives are just different. I believe that also is attributed to how we honor each other as women in different generations. Like we have to understand that about each other. With that being said, what kind of wine does your mom like?
Right now, as I said, we don't want to give her much of anything.
Like was she liking the red or the white?
My mom was more white. And my mom holds her wine too well. So we'll give her one glass of something and my mom was definitely gone. My daughters used to get a kick out of that. Like we was to do family vacations in Mexico. And if grandma had one drink, you could just watch grandma was already a little out of it. Like grandma could not drink more than that.
Dang, just one glass. That's a good one.
My mom, there was not much of it. Again, I'm not much of a drinker either. My mom was not much of a drinker. I don't come from a family of drinkers. I think it started with my grandfather. My grandfather was a drinker.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't so your grandfather had that in him, but it didn't pass down.
My dad and my mother were not drinkers, but my grandfather definitely was a drinker until the doctors pretty much told him that your liver shot, so you better stop.
Yeah. He had that thing.
So he did.
Well, I mean, honestly, first of all, drinking responsibly. Like I haven't had a glass of wine since the last time we talked last week. So
everything in moderation.
I think I'm doing pretty good, right? But this weekend, I'm definitely drinking this weekend. We have the wine tasting on Saturday.
Yes.
I want to just cut in real quick because for those of you who are watching right now, like if you literally think about it, wine tastings, you can't get the bottle. It's too late if you haven't already ordered your bottle. But if you have ordered your bottle, I want you guys to tune in, check in, let me know. We do have a captured audience at the garden party that we're going to do a wine tasting. We want you guys to join in virtually and experience these wines that I've been able to taste. I think, I'm sorry, Lorri, but them reds, I'd order more reds. I'm like, the reds are so good. And I'm just a red wine drinker. But every sip that I had, and here's the thing, you can taste really good quality wine when you sip over time. Like this consistency, this goodness. It's not like buzzing like a I gotta, it's like a very mellow and just very relaxing. So I commend them because I am a wine drinker and I do, recommend good wines. And I've had good wines. So I appreciate this. And I'm glad that I was able to do this, but you guys have to join us. Lorri, can you tell them a little bit about the wine tasting and, kind of how you curate that? Not too much because they're going to get the experience. But what are the things that people get as far as when they come to these wine tastings, right? Because we know that you do this like it's nothing. you literally just talk about the wine. nothing.
We are
But
pretty laid back. We do it pretty casual. Or when I do wine tastings, it's more about the social event and getting everybody being able to share and get together than spending a lot of time talking about the wines, because we do generally we'll have some sort of wine tasting guide. We'll have information there that will give you the information about the notes, the alcohol content, whether it's a medium body, light body, crisp, stuff like that. And it'll also give you pairing if you want that information. So it's there, but it's more about sharing. What do you think? What would you like with it? How is it? How do you feel? Well, you can go over. Sometimes we'll talk about what the 5 S's of tasting a wine, and just get a little bit of education there, so they just learn something different when it comes to tasting. But we always do at least one sparkling wine. And we have white, rosé, and red, different combination. It could be 2 whites, 1 rosé, 2 reds. It could be 1 white, a rosé, and 3 reds. Depends on which way we're going, but there's always at least 1 of each, because it's usually 6 wines. And then again, it's to support WIN. So again, all of our wine tastings are fundraisers. That's one of the reasons we are doing this, is to help. Hopefully people will purchase wine, because 10% of it is going to go to WIN. And we want to help raise money for WIN. And on that note, we just launched a spring sale on Monday. So people like to try new wines. What we're doing is we did this once before. We have a mystery box sale. So we've got 2 different boxes of 6 bottles of wine, and they are both worth a little over, I think about $175, $177, and they're $132. So they're 25% off. You'll see it on our website. I don't know how easy this is to see, but you'll be able to see it on the website. And there's 2 different curated boxes. So if somebody wants to get a case of wine, you can buy mystery box 1 and mystery box 2. There'll be different wines. But what's also nice is if you are a first-time ONEHOPE wine purchaser, you can use this extra code that says at checkout, put in the promo code SAVE10. And as long as you've bought 6 bottles, which buying one of these boxes would be, you can get another 10% off. So that $132 box will now be $118 and change. And it's $175 worth of wine.
I love it. Is there a deal with the Herstory bundle? Because that's the one I'm getting. The Herstory bundle is the bomb.
You can buy as many of those mystery boxes as you want, but there's only 2 different ones. You'll end up with 2 of the same.
I know. But, I love that, because, it's something so much fun. If you're a wine drinker, if you're a wine lover, you get to play around with these things. And we are going to continue this, guys. Like, our efforts with Lorri is forevermore, because she's been such a huge support to WIN, making sure we have those resources, and then telling the story, getting us involved in what ONEHOPE is doing. I would have never found this company the way that, Lorri came up and presented it. I'm like, what? This is out here. And this is why I believe networking is so powerful. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to go to the website. I actually am going to put it in I'll put it in the chat. So, or in the comments rather. So each of you will be able to go ahead and click on this long behind link. I don't know why it looks like that, but I'll shorten in a moment. But just click on the link, guys. Check out the wine features. I am Lorri. I haven't said this, but at the actual WIN, the garden party, we're doing a giveaway of the main character energy rosé.
That's a good one.
With the champagne cap, the topper. And it's so funny, because even my own mother, she was like, so about that giveaway. And I was like, no, because it's going to be fair. And so I see people, loving the energy about the brand, loving the way that it tastes. Me and my mom tasted it after we did the wine tasting last week. And I will post a video, guys, tonight. I've been waiting, because I'm going to post a video tonight of her reaction.
Ooh,
it
cool.
was so funny. My mom's a character like me, so it was so funny. And usually, and my mom is very, very honest. So if she doesn't really feel it, she won't really put an extra energy into it. I'm telling you, my mom did a whole commercial for y'all.
Oh, tell her
So
I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
yes. And so so I want to share that with you guys tonight, because as me and Lorri are always winding down, talking about challenges and women's struggles and all the things that we know about women and what we do here in WIN, we want to encourage you to relax with us, right? Grab your wines, order your bottle, get it for next week. Even if you don't, come to the garden party for the wine tasting, get your bottle. And then next week, we'll do another wine down and have some wine with you. And I think that's important for you guys to taste it for yourself, right? Like no running down to the liquor store and getting those cheap bottles of wine no more. Stop doing that. It's just too convenient and
Remember,
too cheap.
and it's not going to raise any money for WIN.
Well, it definitely ain't gonna make money for WIN, but at the same time, it's not gonna help your diet either.
Also, depending on where you are in the country, there is a possibility you guys get those orders in tonight. You might have wine for Saturday. I'm not going to promise anything, but it's a possibility.
Well, we want you to order it now anyway, because whether you get it Saturday, before Saturday or before next Wednesday, you'll have it. And Lorri, this is one of the things, because I told you I was waiting to like sip because I'm like, I gotta save this for next Wednesday. So, one of the biggest things for me is that last week I wanted to give my full review, guys, of how I experienced that night. Because it's one thing when you're, enjoying the time, right? You're around friends, family, you're enjoying yourself, you're drinking wine. We drank a lot of wine that night, me and my mother, okay? Because we drank that whole bottle. We drank that whole bottle. And usually what will happen, and this is how I know like the quality is good, talk about the sulfates. I mean, yeah, look at those things, but also recognize how it makes you feel. I usually, with wine that's not as good quality, would normally give a little bit of an edge on my head, like, oh, feels so great, gotta lay down. Oh, I was energized the whole night. I don't know about you, Lorri. I still had energy. I did not feel like dragged, but I still felt good. I still felt very, very relaxed and a little slurred, but not to the point where, I was having those headaches and hangovers. And, I don't know if that's all the wines or if they specifically make it so that it's more digestible for those people who have sensitive bodies like myself.
Again, as I've said all along, I'm not a very big wine drinker myself, and I'm not much of a red drinker. I tend to go more to white or sparkling. But I have been told by customers who are red wine drinkers or do like red wine, but have always said red wine gave them headaches, they get migraines from reds, that they have not had a problem with our red wines. I always tell people, this is what I'm told. I can't explain why or not, but that's the feedback I've gotten from several people. Now, our wines are, everything we do at the winery is done naturally and organically. Mm-hmm. Not all the grapes we purchase may be grown organically because we try, but we don't grow them all on our property. So sometimes they may not be purchasing wines from a vineyard that is not organic. But everything we do on our property is done organically.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There is nothing added to any of our wines. So it is just the grapes. You're not getting any added sugars. There's no additives in the wine.
Do they normally add sugars in the wine?
Depends on who's making them.
Because that's not good.
There's a lot of different things that can be added to wines. Even the different wines have different. When people talk about sulfates, our winemaker gets really a little like, okay, we got to, bust this myth. Yes, there are sulfates in wine. It's a naturally occurring process, the thing that happens in the process. They're not sulfates being added to these wines. And as she will put it, you will find more sulfates in the French fries you eat than you will find in a glass of wine. So, If you're having an issue, it's probably not the sulfites in the wine if you eat French fries too.
That's true.
But there
But
are a lot of foods that have sulfites in it and people don't even think about, but they comment constantly about sulfites in wine.
But you make a good point because you're right. Like sulfites naturally are created in the wine because it'll tell you the number, right? Like I think it was like 28 or something like that. We was just talking about the amount of sulfites, or not 28, like 8. So I don't know. Anyway,
yeah, I couldn't
the
tell you.
Point is that the lower the better is what I understand, because for some people they may have some allergies to things like that. But I do know for like in general, when it comes to wine, you know, like we look at, like people look at those things, like, you know, what's the sulfite count? What's the acidity in it? What's the body? You know, all these things that we look as preferences in how we drink, how we intake. But I didn't even worry about that because the result of how I experienced the wine, well, this is what it made me do. And this is what I think for everyone. Like, listen, if you are a woman in business, you need a glass of wine at least once a week where you can relax, but you don't want to end up with the headache. You don't want to end up with the burn. And I was surprised. I honestly was surprised after last week where I was like, I thought I was going to crash and burn on y'all after me and Lorri did the live. And I figured I was going to lay down, and you know how you just pass out like, ugh. I didn't do that. It was such an ease and flow of like, okay, you know, it's time to go to bed and just get myself relaxed. So I really appreciated that because, to be honest with you, I've been drinking wine since I started in my bartending career in like 2004, I think that was. So like I've just kind of gotten accustomed to all these different types of wines, and sometimes you just drink what you drink, right? And it just kind of reminded me about caring for myself, you know, and just, you know, being able to say, you know, I'm going to drink this wine because it actually makes me feel better when I do it, and I don't get the crash and burn. And I think that's part of self-care. I mean, I don't know, but I think that's part of self-care.
If I would say, if it is something you enjoy doing, then that is self-care, because you are making yourself feel good in the moment. And I think that's a lot of what self-care is about, is doing things that make you feel good. And you're looking out that you're picking something, when you're picking the wine, you're picking the one that's making you feel good versus one that's going to give you feel bad after. Again, you know, type of thing. So you're getting that. So yeah, if drinking wine is something you enjoy, then picking the one that keeps you feeling good is self-care.
Yeah, I like that. I like that concept. So here's the thing. For those of you who are not part of wine clubs and who not order wine all the time, okay, this is part of self-care. So with that being said, Lorri, okay, because I want to go into a little bit about, because we're going to end soon, because I want people to really digest and get ready for this weekend, order their wines tonight. But, you know, one of the things that I talked to you about earlier was just making sure that we understood the differences between self-care and the maintenance and the self-awareness. And I believe that being self-aware means that you're always asking yourself questions, right? You're always checking in with yourself. Like, is this wine good? Did it actually make me feel good? And I'm serious. Like last week, I actually had that moment where I was wanting to be, I don't like the word trying. I was looking to be intentional about the experience, right? Sometimes we negate what we're experiencing because we're just doing it, and we don't appreciate what we're receiving. I believe that, you know, life is about getting an abundance of what you need, and being able to do the things that you desire. And when I think about like having that self-awareness of what you like, what you don't like, that came up for me last week, and it's still resonating, because being more self-aware means that I know that I don't want to drink cheap wine.
And I don't want to even necessarily say cheap. I would say bad wine.
Well, why wouldn't you say cheap?
Because everybody, I guess my attitude is everybody's concept of what would be a cheap wine is going to be different.
Like $5 wine?
I mean, I've got people who would tell me that a 25 bottle of wine isn't an expensive bottle of wine because they buy $100 bottles of wine. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's going to be what you consider to be a bad wine. Is you don't want the bad wine. You want a good wine. And the cost in that sense is pretty much irrelevant as long as it's the wine you're enjoying.
That's so good. I never thought about it like that.
I mean, that's what we usually tell people. Like, our wines run from $20 a bottle to $150 a bottle.
What's the highest price bottle that you have that you've seen?
We have an Oakville Cabernet, which I believe it's 150 right now. It might be 200.
I love me some cab now. I might need a sponsor for that
I
bottle.
will tell you the Oakville Cab is really good.
Anybody want
I'm not a regular drinker, but I've had that one.
Listen, Allegra's birthday is, look, my birthday is Saturday, Lorri. I didn't tell nobody.
Oh, happy birthday.
So if y'all want to buy me a bottle of wine, that's the one.
I'm not, that one may be a wine club exclusive. So you're definitely have to join the wine club to get that one.
Okay, y'all join the wine club and y'all get it for me, okay? Somebody's gonna do it.
You have to get it, and then you get 10% off on it. So you're in the wine club.
So, okay. So they get 10%, and then like, so the 10% without the wine club or with the wine club?
If you're a member of the wine club, you automatically get 10% off of every bottle you buy.
That's right. Okay.
At any point in time. The 10% I was talking about before with the Save 10 code is only good for somebody for their very first purchase, like their very first purchase of wine from ONEHOPE, and as long as they buy 6 bottles or more. First time they bought wine and it was 3 bottles, they couldn't use it. And then the next time, if they bought 6, they couldn't use it because it would be their second purchase. So then the only way they'll get the 10% off is to be a wine club member.
Yeah.
And get free shipping down there and get free shipping.
Listen.
Our wine club is a great deal. No arguments on that.
It makes sense because if you're going to order, because you have to order a minimum anyway. And if you're going to order, you have to get the best deal, right?
If you're going to, I mean, I always tell people if you're going to drink or gift 2 bottles of wine a month, the wine club is your best deal because you need to get 6 bottles every quarter, every 3 months, you need to order 6 bottles.
So we have Mother's Day coming up next month.
You got Easter coming up, and then before Easter, probably
birthdays, anniversaries, celebrations. So here's also what's coming up for me, and we'll kind of like tune it down with this one because I do want them to get an offer to be able to join because a lot of people are not just necessarily wine drinkers, but they may want to make money off of people who love wine. And you know the purpose is, right? Lorri, listen, we just talking, okay? And Lori's over here selling wine.
And I'm not a big wine drinker, but I do pretty good.
Well, for me, Lorri, I think the best part was when you said that people love being your family member because you have all the wine. And it's like
I supply wine for everything.
It's like the favorite family member. Everybody loves, but I do just really honor the fact that people can bet on themselves in this company. It's women owned still with their hands in it, even though they have partners. But we love the fact that we get to support women owned brands and brands that, you know, we talked about this last week, but came from the ground up, like real diligent passion and purpose behind that thing. You know, we're heavily supported like that here in the WIN. So we encourage all of you guys, right? Because when you see other women in their businesses, I don't care how big they are, they could be at the top of the stars, okay? When you see when women doing business and doing it well, go support them. Support them.
Totally. I'm very strong feeling about that. I've always felt that I would much rather support somebody in a small business or whatever, you know, than. And even if that meant I paid a little more to do it, I'd still rather give my business to somebody I know and I care about than just to give my business to a stranger and save a couple bucks. Because, you know, I recently had a friend who was going through some issues with her dad, and we were having lunch, and she's like, she needed an estate attorney and she needed a realtor. And I'm like, oh, wait, I know one. Oh, wait, I know one. And before we were done with lunch, I gave her names for both of these things. And she called me like an hour. I've already been in touch with both of them. I've got appointments with them both. Thank you so much. I'm like, if I know somebody that I know that I'm comfortable, I would definitely I want to help them.
Yeah. Yeah. But Lorri, that's your heart though. That's your heart. Like, and this is, so many of us do have that heart. At the same time, though, I also want to bring the attention to the fact that sometimes we are so overwhelmed and involved in our everyday life that we don't pay attention to what brands we need to support. And so I love that you brought that up, because you have an intentional measure to say, I'm going to support the smaller brands that I know are working hard, working diligently. And that matters. Mm-hmm. So thank you for sharing that. I feel the same way. I feel like when I don't support, it doesn't fulfill me. Like when I spend money, this is where it comes from, Lorri. So you tell me how you feel about this, and we'll give them an offer to join you in your team and what you're doing. But I just feel like it doesn't fulfill me to just spend money. It fulfills me when I spend money on the things that I know that has a measure of purpose to it. Like you're actually fulfilling your dream right now, and I can contribute to that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that. I don't know. Tell me, ladies, men who support us, please tell me if this is your energy, because I think that it does come from a place where women, when we're in safe spaces and we're nurtured, that's how we show up for each other.
I totally agree with you. I mean, if I can support a friend in whatever they're doing, I'm going to support them. I've even bought things that I have absolutely no need for, and it's supporting somebody. I'll find a reason.
Can it be a toxic behavior too at the same time? Well, like you just
okay, a good example also. Okay, with the popcorn fundraiser.
Oh yes.
We don't need popcorn. Neither one of us wanted any, but there was an option to buy it as a donation to be sent somewhere.
To help New Jersey out, because New Jersey was getting their butt kicked. Okay.
But there was another option, like that you could buy it and it was shipped, I think, to teachers or something.
Oh, you shipped it to a worker?
We did it through that I did it that way, that it was being sent to somebody as a donation, because we didn't want it. But I wanted to support the fundraiser. I do that with Girl Scout cookies all the time. I have so many friends whose kids are in Girl Scouts. I don't need all these cookies in my house, but I got to support the kids. So, but now Girl Scouts, you can buy them and they send them like to troops and things like that. So I just do it as a donation, send the cookies to somebody. I've literally walked by kids when the Girl Scouts have their displays in front of stores. I've literally walked over sometimes and given them like, here's $20. Just give the cookies to the next kid that comes by. I don't need the cookies, but here, please take the donation.
You're an angel.
Things like that make me those things fill my cup.
Yes. Well, I ain't giving $20 to the kid. I may give him $5.
But the point.
To me. Well, this is such a beautiful thing. It also is beautiful to see your spirit in the way it works, because I think that is part of how we receive, like you give and you put out into the world, and then, you see yourself getting back the reception of what you gave. I think you're just such a sweet person for doing what you do. And every time we have these conversations, I'm like, I'm gonna sit in my womb at the same time. Y'all listen, this is melting my heart, because
I thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. But I think that's why right now I really am very excited about, we keep going back to the joining, the promotion we have right now to join ONEHOPE. I think it's such a great deal that even somebody who is just a wine lover and thinks they may want to give it a try, it's $79 right now, where it's normally $200, well, $199. You get 3 bottles of wine plus a credit for a host kit. So basically for like a kit, that would be the 6 bottles that got sent to you for an event. Mm-hmm. So they can then set up their first party and supply the wine for it, or host their first party to show everybody what it is. Comes with a whole bunch of all the different materials you need. It comes with the first 4 months of them taking care of your back office. And it also comes with membership in our wine club. So you don't even have to pay that $20, and all your wines you get 10% off on when you purchase them. So
yeah, that's the one that I'm not missing out on. So that's the one I remember you sent me the flyer for, I think it was.
yes.
Okay, that's the one I'm not missing out on. So I need to get that tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and lock that in tonight, Lorri, so I can get my other box, because you sent me a box. I need another box
Okay.
because we're going to be done with those wines and I'm going to be upset. So I'm going to get that now. That is an amazing deal, because when I think about it, we're going through bottles in one night, like nothing. And so I believe that, being able, and I honestly look at these bottles as kind of like a wine collection, because you can have like these cute main character energies and this up there and that up there, like bottles that you love that speak, you have it behind you, that speak volumes to your spirit. Yeah, that's the other one. That's the other one.
This is a different one. This is one that we don't do. I don't think we do this one anymore, but when I joined, it was a bottle that they gave new people. If you sold $500 in sales in your first 2 weeks, you got you're part of the Rising Star Club. And this was the
so you got a Rising Star Club bottle, but don't they have a bottle like that on the website? And it says something.
We have bottles in silver on the website. They have ones that say "Cheers to you." I think we have one that says "Happy Birthday." So we do have bottles that look like this. It just won't say Rising Star Club on it.
Yep.
This was a custom bottle that they did. The same way even the main character energy bottle for a while wasn't on our website. It was just a special promotion with us, and then they put that on the website.
Keep that there. Well, you guys, please join me in signing up tonight for the offer, because it's only $79, and usually that's what it's
$199 usually, and you basically have 4 months to see, do you like it? Are you selling? Is it working? Does it work for you? And if not, then you can just decide to be a wine club member.
That's amazing. All right. Well, we're going to also drop that flyer after this live in the comments, so you guys can actually click that link to get into the program, to get into the membership, the wine club, all the things that Lorri has to offer. Now, Lorri, if they want to join your team, is this the same thing? Like if they're like,
the $79 is to join my team. That's something to join my team. That one, the only difference is that they would be using a different link than the link for your fundraiser, because that wouldn't go through the fundraiser. It has to go specifically to my shopping link, because on my shopping link, there's a point on the cover page. It says, "Shop with me, join my team." And you click on the place which says join my team. So I think
we sent that last time already. I think I already have that link with the flyer.
I don't know, but I can know. I'm trying to say I don't have a chat on my screen here, so I can send it to you to make sure you have it.
Okay. So if you send it in the private chat here, or if you just text it to me, I got you.
Okay, I'm going to send it to you right now while we're talking. Okay, you want me to text it to you or put it in Facebook Messenger? What's easier?
You can text it. You can, or it don't matter. Okay.
I will do that right now while we are talking.
Let me get my phone while you're doing it. I had to charge it. All right. So while you know what I forgot, Lorri?
I'm listening.
You know what I was going to do today? I was going to bring my grapes. I didn't do like a charcuterie or anything, but I did have some. So, you guys, whenever you have your wine, make sure you have your food to go with your wine, so you can do your tastings. I'm wondering, Lorri, do we need to have cheese and some fruit and some fig at the...
You need to have there whatever you would like to have with your wines. So, like we always have
fun, as you can see.
We always joke when we talk to people about hosting wine tastings that think more Costco and less Martha Stewart.
Costco is
really simple. I'm saying make it really simple. It doesn't have to be fancy and elaborate like a Martha Stewart display. Just, you can have a simple cheese, some crackers, maybe a little bit of fruit, want to have a cookie or two, and you're done.
Did I share with you that I did that for years?
Nature food wars?
So I don't think I ever told you this. So yeah, I had a bartending company for over 10 years. And on top of that, I did wine tastings throughout the entire time, not just for my bartending company, but for companies. So I didn't even look, I'm not even trying to tell y'all all of it. But Lorri, that's why I love what you're doing, because I'm like, this is educational. It's interactive, right? And I can sit back and really drink the wine. I don't have to do any. But you know, to your point, because I have done, you know, been in a lot of wine tasting environments. I've been in wine tastings. I've done wine tastings. I personally like to have fun, and I don't do like a lot of the classy or, you know, like I've been at the one with like the guy was like really stiffy and he was like, okay, you just like swirl and
no, we don't want it to be stuffy. Wine shouldn't be stuffy. Wine should be fun.
But yeah, so, you know, music, entertainment, and having like not loud music, but just, you know, nice music in the background, being able to have that experience. So I'm excited. Y'all tune in. If you have not gotten your wine, get it today. And make sure you join the club so that you can become a member like myself so that we can sell wine together. Lorri's going to guide us through the way. Lorri, anything that you want them to know before we get out of here, to prepare for this weekend and for next week, and any words of wisdom?
I think we're good right now. Is there any particular wine you think you want to try next week so we can let people know what that might be?
Oh, God.
And then that way, if people are still trying to decide what wines they want to get, maybe that'll make somebody want to. Do you want to do a white? You want to do a rosé? Since we've been doing red,
Let's do a white. Let's do a white.
Okay, a Chardonnay or a Sauv Blanc?
Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay, that's an easy one because we only have one Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah. Everybody knows. Like, I think Chardonnays are so like everyone goes straight to the Chardonnay first. When they think of a white wine that's not sweet. Because most people go to the
not sweet either.
It's buttery. It's nice and, you know, buttery. Sometimes it has a little crispy, but I'm just really excited. So Lorri, first of all, I just want to thank you again because you are, you know, taking time out to educate us in the community. You're making sure that we are well aware of your brand and getting to know the woman behind the brand. You did not have to do these Winedown and WIN Wednesdays with me.
I'm having fun.
But I'm enjoying myself. So thank you so much for that. And you guys make sure that you reach out to Lorri. We're going to put her contact information in the chat comments. You know, I believe that connections, networking is an ongoing, everyday, rotational thing. So whenever you feel, and this is something that's coming up for me for last words, whenever you feel an inclination to reach out to someone, do it.
I'm always available, folks. So text me, whatever, and we will set up a time to connect.
Yes. Thank you, Lorri.
Thank you. Have a great night, everyone.
Bye, guys. Have a great one. Bye.